So welcome to Saturday Morning Yoga Lab. I'm DL, and today we're going to be focusing on some really comforting, gentle tools and yoga that will help regulate the nervous system and keep it resilient. We're all going through a lot of uncertainty right now and possibly anxiety and other things, and I wanted to address that. Plus I had a special request to kind of do a really gentle session of comfort and self-care, so we're going to go into that. Now if you're going to need a blanket at some point, and the bigger the blanket the better. So go ahead and grab that and then come back and just have it on the side so that you're ready for a really special tool that I love that I'm going to share with you today. So I'm going to do a little nervous system regulation right off the bat. So if you would come into a comfortable seated position, and this can be, you can sit in a chair if that is more comfortable for you. Oh wait, it's not even 10:30 yet. I can't start yet. So I'm just gonna let it go a couple more minutes and kind of blabber. You can fast forward the video if you're watching this later instead of sooner. Yeah. So what else can I say about what we're doing today? Yeah, so we're going to be working with the movements that we do will all be very gravity centered and working with what's called the heavy body. So it's feeling our weight in relationship to gravity and letting that go and release towards gravity. So that will be really nice. And then I already said we're going to do some chanting. And chanting is great for helping to tone the vagal nerve. The vagal nerve is the longest nerve in the body, and it starts around the inner ear and it travels down the neck and through most of the internal organs of the body. So it's just a really important nerve, and it helps us to either decide whether we're going to go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fawn is the new thing, I guess. And then, or whether, we're going to go into rest, digest, or the really open-hearted, connected nervous system. And toning helps us do that. It helps us go into that more connected place. So we're going to end today with that. So it's officially 10:30. I'm going to officially start, even though kind of, Facebook, there are no rules, are there? And so what I'd like you to do again is find a nice comfortable seat, and it doesn't matter whether you're in a chair, if you're sitting on your heels with your heels behind you, or you can just sit cross-legged, so whatever is comfortable for you. I'm going to scoot back a little. Hopefully you'll be able to still hear me. In fact, I have a couple of watchers. If you're willing to, just let me know whether you can hear well enough. Hi Liz, good morning. So, okay, fantastic, thank you. So, once you're in your comfortable seat, and I'll show you, I'm going to sit on my heels, but I'm going to use two things. Now I have a block, you might not have a block, it doesn't matter. Like I said, it also doesn't matter how you're sitting. I'm just going to stick the blanket on my lower calves, and then I'm going to lean into the block. So that's how I'm sitting. You can sit however you choose. And so just take a moment to settle in. And because I can't see you, I kind of have to sense you. And get a feel for, whether you're shuffling to get comfortable or whatnot. So if I seem to be taking a long time, you know what to do. Just go inside and be quiet. So let's just start with a body scan to get a sense of where we are today in this moment. So close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or just drop your gaze down. And begin to feel whatever you feel. Just become aware of that. So feel maybe the bottom of your feet or whatever surface of your body may be in contact with the ground or the chair or the block. Notice if there's any nervous tension in your body anywhere. Or maybe you feel fatigue, or maybe energized and ready to move. And you also might feel some conflicting things in your body. Maybe something feels anxious and something else feels really grounded and rooted. So just notice if there's any disagreement in various parts of you. For example, right now I'm feeling really grounded in my lower body, and my upper body's feeling some nervousness. So let's begin to bring our awareness now more fully to the breath. Just notice the pause at the top of the inhalation before you exhale. And likewise at the bottom of the breath, just notice that pause before you inhale again. And if you know Ujjayi breath, it's that kind of Darth Vader type of breath when we close the epiglottis slightly so that we can make a sound with the breath as we inhale and exhale. If you're familiar with that, you can add that to your practice. And as you do, you might find it helps you both to center yourself. It is a very centering breath. Or to help you ground into the surface. And the breath may become, without any effort on your part, longer through the inhale and exhale. So just notice those things. So I guess the Ujjayi breath This also called the oceanic breath or victorious breath. That's what Ujjayi means. This is your first tool today to helping to calm the body. And we're going to add another tool, a second tool to it. So if you take your hand, I've got comments, I'm just going to check. Oh, hello, Leonie, if you're still here. I don't think you are. So go ahead and place the palm of your hand on your forehead. And continue with your breathing. And notice if the breath gets caught anywhere, if it's jagged or if it's smooth. And just by virtue of bringing your attention there, see if it smooths itself out. And just allow the weight of the forehead to rest into the palm of the hand. And so the hand pushes back into the weight of the head. If your arm gets heavy or tired, you can slowly just switch and give the first arm a little bit of a break. Again, find the weight of the head, let the head rest into that palm, the palm supporting the forehead. Deep breaths, full breath. Again, changing arms at any point that one may grow tired. And just noticing what's happening inside you right now. Do you feel a calmness, a stillness entering your being, or maybe more so arising from within it? Nice full breaths. Really give yourself to your breath. Don't rush anything, just slow down. Give yourself time. And notice sensations as they arise. You know, you can feel the comfort of your own hand We often seek comfort from the outside. We seek comfort from food or from our friends who we might not be able to see at the moment. Or we seek comfort from other things, other addictions of all sorts. But touch, your own touch, has the capacity to give you the same comfort if you but turn your attention to it and receive it as well. So you can lower both arms when you feel complete with that. Just take a moment with your hands maybe resting on your lap to notice if you feel any different from 5 minutes ago when we started, or however many minutes it's been. I certainly feel a lot more centered than I did starting. So remember that tool, because that tool is so easy, but it works, you know? And you can do it anytime, anywhere. Okay, so let's come down onto the floor. Just move anything that you might have been using for sitting out of your way. We're going to come onto our backs. Oh, and you know what? I said at the beginning before we started that you'll need a large blanket. So if you don't have a blanket nearby, please go grab a blanket and bring it back so that you can be part of this thing we're going to do a little bit later, but I want you to be prepared for it. And the bigger the blanket, the better. Okay, but we're going to go down now to the floor. And we'll come into constructive rest, so having the knees bent. Maybe a little wider than hip width apart, or wherever is comfortable for you. You want to feel as though you don't have to hold the legs up with the groin. And you want to feel like they're not going to, flop open either. And begin to just feel through your feet. Some teachers talk about the triangle of the foot, the points at the balls of the feet and the heel. But I've also come across those that teach the 9 points of the feet, and that's what I've been doing for quite some time now. And that includes each and every toe. There's 5 points. And the balls of the feet under the big toe. That's 6. Then 7 would be the outer ball under the little toes. 8 is the outer edge of the foot, the outer arch, from pinky back to outside heel. And then the heel itself. So we really want to work with gravity here and release to gravity. So see if you can feel and relate each of those 9 points of the feet with the ground and the surface, whatever surface you're on. And just keep releasing through the feet energetically into the ground. And as you do, you might become aware of other places in the body that feel all of a sudden more in contact with the ground. The pelvic bowl and the lower back might feel more in connection. Feel free to wiggle and move and adjust yourself, and then come into that still place where you can just keep releasing your weight. Notice what happens to the breath as you release towards the ground with the back body. You'll feel the breath in the front body kind of light and open. Feeling along both sides of the spine and the back ribs, into the shoulder blades, middle back. Feeling the backs of the arms, even the backs of the hands, heavy. And note as well how the back of the head feels. You can even rock a little bit from right to left with the head slowly, and just feel the ground and then settle the head back center. And then begin to do some explorations with your breath and this idea of gravity and giving in to the ground. Just see what you discover. Can you allow the back body, the parts that are in contact with the ground, to kind of hug into that space? Can you get a sense of the back body tissue spreading across the ground more and more? And as you breathe, you can even put your hands on the belly if you like, to feel that rise and fall of the belly with the breath. And as it falls, imagine it can fall into a bottomless hole. A deep space with each exhalation. Feel that center point of your body, the dantian, connecting deeply with the center of the earth. Do a little bit of stirring, maybe coming onto your toes a bit, maybe rocking the pelvis a little side to side, maybe arching the back and then flattening it. We're just going to prepare to bring the knees up towards the chest, kind of hovering right over the hips as opposed to tight to the chest. So have your knees just perpendicular to your hips. And let's take the arms out somewhere to the side of the body where they're free and there's space for your knees to begin to fall off to one side, just rocking on the back. We're not going all the way down to the ground yet. We're just beginning to roll through the back of the pelvis as the knees fall towards one side and then the other. Feel how gravity can provide a bit of a massage through the tissues of the buttocks and the outer hip. Also notice if you still can maintain that sense of deep space through the belly. Try to keep the opposite shoulder on the floor as you continue to maybe grow this movement. Letting your knees move maybe closer and closer to the floor into a twist. Notice how you're breathing. Is your inhalation happening when you come to center, or is it happening as you move outward? And which feels better? Which feels like it contributes support to this rocking? Get ready now. We're going to let our knees drop to one side or the other. I'm going to drop mine towards you so you can see what we're going to do next. So I'm letting my knees come all the way over. And I'm stacking hips right on top of each other, knees right on top of each other, ankles right on top of each other. My knees are directly out from my hips, and my heels are directly under my knees, so they're not tucked back. Now here, you might need either, you can use your arm to support your head, or you might need a blanket or a pillow under your head. You can support yourself with your top arm against the ground, or just lay your arm long on the side of your body. Again, this is a practice of relating with gravity, of noticing the effects or impacts of gravity on the body. So allow yourself to become heavy here. And you might feel as though this is a little bit of an exercise in balance. You might notice that you're leaning a little towards the back of the body, or perhaps a little more towards the front. And if that's the case, just see if you can readjust yourself, maybe bringing the knees in a little closer to the body, chest. So that there's no effort in holding yourself up here. Just breathe nice full breaths. And notice now that the side body from the sides of the foot, up through the sides of the leg, side of the hip into the side ribs, waist. And the underarm. And just continue to allow that lower side of the body to sink, to give itself to the ground. And of course, if we wanted to do more movement, if you're feeling like you need more movement, there's all kinds of things you can do with that upper half body to kind of float the limbs in space and explore space. Or you can just give in and stop the doing and just let yourself be heavy here. Notice where you feel your breath and how it may be quite different than when you were on your back. Can you feel the breath move into the elongated side? Now you can stay here, or if you would like to try this with me, you're welcome to do so. I'm going to open my, I'm going to bring my shoulder around to the front and open into what would be a seated twist, or a supine twist. And bring my arms under my head in kind of a basket. And I'm just going to do a few liftings and shortening my side body here. So my hips are still over each other. My knees are still over each other. And I'm just lifting through the waist and then lowering to the ground. When I lower, I completely let go of the contraction. And then I can come up again. Just lifting straight up to the ceiling, shortening through that side body, and releasing. So do that at your own pace. 3 or 5 times. Just make sure that you release each time you come down. Take a nice deep breath between. And you can hold, or you can just keep going up and down. And then when you feel complete, open the arms back up, and let's bring the knees back to center. Notice what you feel in the right side of the body versus the left side. What feels different? Even if you can't name it, just notice what you feel. And then we're going to bring the knees back up right over the hips where they were before. And again, begin to rock the hips side to side. Going a little further each time, and you might notice that the side we've already worked, it's a little easier and freer for them to go in that direction. But what we want to do now is go to the other side. So actually, I'm going to turn around so that I'll still be facing you, and I know you can hear me. Okay. And so just whenever you're ready, you can let your knees fall off to the second side, the unworked side. And let your whole body follow, finding a place of comfort, either resting your head on your arm or on a pillow or blanket. What we don't want, we don't want the head to be hanging off the neck uncomfortably, so. Stacking hip over hip, knee over knee, ankles over ankle, and then making sure that the knees are directly out or possibly a little higher than the hips, and the knees and the ankles are in a straight line, not tucked. Front arm, either supporting yourself on the ground here with the front arm or leaving the arm long on the top of the body. And again, just releasing that whole side body to gravity. Noticing if you have a tendency to lean back or perhaps even lean forward, and see if you can find a way to balance yourself so you're neither leaning forward nor backward. Full, delicious breaths, feeling the effect of the breath through the rib cage and the underside body. Releasing downward. Notice where you might be holding up and away from the ground. And when you notice, release. So again, those of you who want a little more movement, feel free to find the lightness of the upper half of the body, and you can explore into space with your limbs a little bit. Otherwise, you're welcome to not move at all. Sloth yoga.
And you know, it's really not just about letting yourself become heavy and move towards gravity. It's also gravity moving up towards your body. So see if you can sense and feel how the ground is moving towards you. It gives a different sensation to perceive it that way. Then if you'd like to start to open the upper body into a supine twist, we'll go into our little side body crunches here. So first just open to that twist. Bring the hands behind the head. And then shorten that side body, lifting the head upward toward the ceiling. And release down. So again, feel free to go at your own pace now that you know what you're doing here. Just make sure when you come down that you completely release all the contraction. A breath can help. Last time, or just rest. Open the arms back out. And instead of coming onto your back, bring your arm back to your fetal posture here. And hopefully you have a blanket. If you don't and you need to run and get one, please get one. So I have mine on the ground, and mine is a weighted blanket. And weighted blankets are awesome. They have either these either weights in them or glass beads in them that make them heavy. And it's really nice if you have anxiety or trouble grounding yourself. A weighted blanket is your good friend. So I know that you might not have one today, but whatever blanket you have is going to work for what we're going to do. And that is roll ourselves up like little burritos. So I'm going to turn myself this way because I need to be able to reach the gong. So what you're going to do, whatever size blanket you have, just lay it out nice and flat on the ground. And make sure that you have room at the bottom of the blanket and some room at the top. If your blanket is really short, you're going to want it around the middle body more than around the bottom of your feet or two up towards the top. Now, I need to keep one arm free. However, for you, I recommend you just kind of put your hands in towards your ribs. And in fact, I noticed that I didn't have my light on, and this might actually help shed some light. So let me turn it on. There. Okay. So having your hands in nice and close to your body here, and your legs together. And what you're going to do, and actually you might need to free up your top arm just to bring the blanket in towards your body at one edge. So I'm at the nearest end of my blanket, and I'm going to roll myself towards the other end of the blanket.
Okay. So we roll.
And then we roll again. And I'm going to keep this arm free, but you can keep yours tucked. Okay. And then roll again until you're all nicely rolled up in your blankie. Now, you might need a pillow for your head to support your head. I had one prepared. I should have mentioned that to you. But you can unroll yourself, get whatever you need, and then come back and roll yourself so that your pillow's here, blanket's here for your head. We're going to be here for a while, so you have time to unroll and roll yourself back. And then just roll. You can either lie on your side or on your back. I am going to roll away from you towards the gong, and we're going to do a little gong meditation here, rolled up. So just feel, and the tighter you can get your blanket around your body, the better the feedback. So that's something you can, if you feel like it's too loose around you, just unwind and re-roll. And in fact, I will say that rolling itself is a really good tool for grounding and helping to deal with anxiety. So I'm going to re-roll. Oops. You know what? I just rolled my arm in. So I'm going to roll one more time and leave my arm out so I can gong. There we go. All right. So relax. Now, with each strike of the gong, let the sound of the gong, the waves of the gong, wash over your body, and just notice what you might feel, think, sense. And then when the gong sound fades, just notice how that feels on the body. And then with the next strike of the gong, again, just let it wash over your body. And we'll repeat that several times until we have a moment of silence. Enjoy.
Nice, deep, full breaths. Feel the boundaries of the blanket around you, enclosing you, hugging you. Meet that boundary with your breath. And yeah, I could probably stay here a lot longer. So I invite you to stay another minute. I'm going to unwind myself. Go slowly if you are coming out. Roll slowly. And then take your time to come up to a seated position when you're ready. Don't rush it. We're going to close class with some toning, some chanting. And so I'd like you to be comfortable in whatever way you're sitting so you can be there for a while. So you can grab a chair. I'm pointing to a chair. You can grab a chair. You can sit on your heels or an easy pose, whatever works. So I'm going to teach you a chant. It's Om Guru, and it's super easy, which is one of the reasons I chose it today. But it's also very powerful. And the word Om is the cosmic sound. It's everything. And Guru means teacher, or in some cases, or equally so, remover of darkness, dispeller of darkness. And so we can take Om, which is the cosmic vibration, as our teacher, our guru. And I'm just going to read a little bit from this book, Om, the Melody of Love, by Joseph Barak Cornell. Oh, and where was my, here it is. Let me find, actually, I think I lost my, no, that's it, okay. So Om is God's consciousness vibrating throughout creation. It is the bridge that unites nature and spirit, human and cosmic consciousness. Holy Om is the stream of God's consciousness into which the soul merges to discover its own highest nature. So I said in the beginning of class as well that this is another tool, chanting or toning, just using your voice, singing, anything, is very helpful for toning the vagal nerve. So this chant, Om Guru, I'm going to sing it a few times. There is, I think it's, the melody changes slightly after the first couple repetitions, but it's still very easy. So after a couple times hearing it, you'll be able to probably chant it along quite easily with me. You can have your eyes open or closed, it's up to you. Of course, if you close them, you have more of an inner experience. But if you'd like to keep them open, that's fine. So the chant goes like this. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. And again like that. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Then there's a slight switch. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. And repeat that again. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Then back to the beginning. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Modulation. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Last time, really get into it. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Loud. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. And back to the beginning, quieter. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Let's bring the hands together and rub them. Bringing them to the chest in Anjali Mudra, creating a little bit of space between the hands to hold your prayer, whatever it may be. Deep breath in. Hold. And release. And we'll chant to end class. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. So thank you for joining me today for Saturday Morning Yoga Lab. I just want to reiterate or review the tools that are available to you. So we had the Ujjayi breath, the Darth Vader-like breath, which is a grounding and centering breath. You can use it anytime, anywhere. Holding the forehead with the hand and just kind of letting the head be heavy in the hand. Easy, easy tool. It can really help if you're feeling stressed out. Okay? Working with gravity, just letting the body become heavy on the ground. Super easy tool. The other tool was rolling ourselves up like a burrito in a blanket. Or if you want to invest in a heavy blanket, a weighted blanket, go for it. It's also, these are really great if you have trouble sleeping. So you can look into that. And then chanting or sound, using something like the gong or a bell, that can help change your state, get you out of your circular thinking. So all of those tools, really easy and really available and mostly free. So thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you again. Take care. Be tranquil.